we're live. Take it away, Matt.
Okay, we're live here with the Martin Fowler Scrum on Wednesday, sorry. Normally what we do here in the Scrum is we go around by who entered first, asking what, especially any blocks they're having, but what usually people update and of what they're doing now. So I didn't do anything yesterday. I had a friend in town, so I don't really have any updates, and I'm not blocked on anything. So let's just go right to Sam.
Sure. Thanks, Matt. And short reports are great. It's we try and keep the meeting to 15 minutes max. Yeah, updates from me. I put in a test on website 1, which is the Agile Ventures project, which is about for the feature for renewing the Let's Encrypt HTTPS. That's gone in, and that passed, and I went ahead and merged that to get that out because it was well. I'm conflicted about that, but anyway, we can talk about that separately. Anyway, that was one of the main things I did this morning. Anything else? Yeah, I just kind of being a bit ineffective. Is there anything blocking me? And I guess I need to get on and do some more preparation for the Elixir mob. We've got the Elixir Phoenix mob coming up in about 55 minutes. Yeah, the other key thing I think is I've realized we really need to get the NHS Wiki, the marketing report ready for Friday when I've got a meeting with them, and we're also planning for our design sprint next week, and we want to get our experts booked in. So that's kind of key as well. Yeah, that's about it from me. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Robert. I guess you're next, and maybe you can feel free to take a little time to introduce yourself and your project. And
all right, so right now here is Katharina, our user experience designer. I'm a developer. Together we work on social startup called Rundfunk Mitbestimmen. Very easy site. So payers of German public broadcasting fees can visit that site, say whether they want to support this and that broadcast, and they don't distribute their budget among the selected broadcasts. And that is data that's very valuable data that will be published and maybe create an influence so broadcasters can evaluate that program. And if they do that, that's basically the influence payers of broadcasting fees would like. So what were we doing? We were doing emails just now. So this is a social and political startup, so we have to email many people. That's what we were doing right now. We have blockers. Do we have blockers? We just have a lot of work to do, probably. Yes, and what are we going to do is, I was working on the first issue in our, so I updated the issues on our GitHub, also for you guys, to have it hopefully self-explaining. And I was working on the first one. I already submitted a work in progress pull request. That's it.
I should have mentioned to have a slight block with your project.
Oh yeah.
But it's not urgent. It's just.
Yeah, I can actually answer that. So the tests, you told me you're running the tests with a German browser. The tests are actually written in English, so it should be no problem to use an English default browser. There's only one test that actually tests if the backend translates. So if you click on the language button, then the test actually checks if the language has changed to German. But that's the only test that is at all somehow related to that problem.
But it just doesn't seem that way, because you have lists with German words in them that you're checking for, it seems.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's on the fly you got I forget what they're called, but you just have tables in the Cucumber.
Yeah.
They're in German.
Okay, that's actually right. So the broadcast titles are in German, and they are not translated at all, because that's the name. And since most of we are talking about public broadcasting in Germany, so I used examples, and those examples are obviously existing German broadcasts, which also have a German name. But the name is not translated in the application.
Could I be making those examples in my database or something? Because I am getting the error still.
Okay, maybe we can check.
Well, I'm certainly happy to have you here, and maybe Sam can let you know. He's co-founder of Agile Ventures, so.
It's wonderful to have you here. I was just, I mean, we definitely, what the Scrum is about is finding those blockers. And it sounds like there's maybe more investigation. We can take that to the end of the Scrum. Although the Scrum finishes after 15 minutes, we can easily carry on with lots of other things. It's fantastic to have you here, Robert. I'm really excited about your project. It also, just you were mentioning doing doing like emails and so on. We also have marketing meetings for Agile Ventures on Mondays and Thursdays, which you'd be interested in joining, or we have a marketing channel. We're also, for Agile Ventures, it's a sort of a social enterprise activity. So yeah, there are lots of things that we can chat and mind meld about at the end of the Scrum. Wonderful to have you here. Matt, do you want to just make sure that we get everybody else's sort of issues on the table, and then we can sort of No problem at all.
Okay. The next was Lokesh, I think. Or we'll go to Lokesh.
Yeah. So Sam, I've been working on the refactoring of the page class, which you suggested me yesterday. And I think I have solved those 3 issues, but there's some problem with the core climates. It's saying that the coverage has been decreased. I think this is because I have reduced some number of lines. So you can take a look at that, and the the pull request on the installation notes that I have completed.
Okay, so that's ready to be merged on. That's on website 1, right? And so okay. So I guess, are you blocked? Are you looking for something new to do now?
Yeah. No, everything is going great.
All right.
Great. Thanks, Lokesh. Michael.
Hello. So I am working on, well, yesterday I was working on finding a bug in website 1, and I think Sam and I had tracked down part of the problems with keeping the data up to date with GitHub for the projects. There's still some other errors to be sorted out. They're kind of deterministic. They'll probably be fairly easy to track down and test. But there's I don't know, like 3 or 4 sources of them. Because that part of the code base, I think, is poorly tested. So the other thing is I refactored part of the data mining project, the community support project, to get in basic unit tests in Python. So it's just the unit tests that come with Python out of the box.
Right.
And I'm not sure how far you can go with that.
Okay.
In terms of like how easy it makes testing, I guess, like with the assertion matchers or whatever. In terms of like in RSpec, you'll have things like you can say, oh, this complicated data structure includes this item. I'm not sure if unit test allows that, or if you have to add something on top, or like I know some people use this thing called nose.
Yeah, I've used that before for Python. Yeah.
I'm not sure what exactly that does on top of unit test.
I think it's like it gives you more RSpec-like syntax, and there's lettuce, which gives you cucumber-like syntax for Python. So there's some, nicer things to use, and I guess the default one is like the equivalent of mini test or even whatever that one is that's default in Rails. Yeah, but yeah, I think as I was saying, yeah, let's get that all posted into the data mining channel, and we can maybe get input from other people as well.
All right, so that's it. There's no blockers.
Oh, great. Thanks, Michael. And we're right at 15 minutes just about. So, hey.
Great work, Matt.
Now, I guess the time is just if anybody thought of anything they forgot to bring up. And then sometimes we continue on with solving some problems. But
yeah, but it sounds like, Matt, that you and Robert might want to get together to look at those issues.
Time,
yeah. Lokesh, I was just going to say, yeah, I think your progress are probably ready to merge. Do you need help from me about what to do next?
No, if you can help, then that would be great. But I think I would look for the refactoring things.
You're going to look for some more refactoring things to do, yeah. On local support or website one?
Local support.
Okay, no, that's great. That sounds absolutely good. Okay, well, in that case, I think I'm done. I guess Matt and Robert, if you want to use this Hangout just to coordinate, you could for sake of, or if you've got some time, guys, you feel free to create a separate pairing Hangout on specifically on. And apologies, I'm not going to.
You are.
It looks like Runfuck mit best. If I didn't pronounce the name of the project, so my apologies for that. But.
Yeah, actually, we are also looking for a better name. It was just the very first name that came up. It
right.
Translates to participate in broadcasting.
Ah, okay.
You pronounce it Rundfunk mitbestimmen.
Rundfunk mitbestimmen.
Yeah, Rundfunk is broadcasting. Mitbestimmen means participation, co-determination. Let's say.
Yeah. It sounds wonderful. I mean, actually, Michael, you speak some German, don't you, Michael? You studied.
Yeah. We recently printed out some business cards, and we have the name on it, and we still don't have a slogan. So there is our slogan currently is just here's a good slogan missing.
Right. Or TBA, yes.
I was also asking people for a better name, but nobody had a better idea. So this name kind of stuck, and I probably it's not going to change anymore. But we'll see.
All that's the marketing is all about, isn't it? Finding those names. Yeah. Well, I guess what I'll do is I'll kind of fade into the background and unless you have any questions for me about how Agile Ventures works or anything other ways in which we can help support your project.
I mean, I have learned about Agile Ventures from a friend. He was learning with you guys, and he said, well, if you are a social project and you really need people engaged, this would be something for you. So we are a non-profit and we develop open source, and we're very concerned about that. We want to write applications that we actually want to use on our own, ourselves. So he pointed me to that. And then I just looked at it. As far as I understand Agile Ventures, you're a social enterprise and you connect people who want to learn programming with social projects.
Right.
Pretty much it, right? So we can greatly benefit from that because I'm also a programming coach.
Right.
Programming, I have a Ruby course here in Potsdam. Have you heard about the Rails girls, for example?
Yes.
It's pretty similar to that. And I'm very happy to teach anybody how to give anybody advice how to work on Rails or work on Ember. In our specific case, we have just the Rails API.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the back end,
right?
And the actual application is written in Ember.
Great. Yeah. No, well, that sounds like a great fit. I mean, I guess the only other thing on top of your current understanding, which is accurate, that we try and put together, people who want to improve their development skills, or even people who've got development skills they just want to give back to social projects and put them together, is the Agile in Agile Ventures, is that we try and provide some degree of scaffolding to say, let's have scrums, let's have sprints, let's try and, rather than just all code away all night, let's try and, support the teamwork processes. One thing I would mention it in the other channel, I'll just say it for everyone, is that we do have new projects come in. There's like the Wikimedia EDU dashboard came in and joined us, and so on. There's this like sort of animal, of course, this is a SHF project, animal charity in Sweden. What I strongly encourage everyone is to at least check out some of the projects and make contributions to those projects so that they can maybe see the workflow. We're not like saying everybody has to have exactly this workflow, but I think it's great to understand the workflow of a few of the different projects and bring those back,
Learn
to your own. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Learn from others. Yes. I'm going to consider that and check out if there's some nice project we could work in. Yes.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I'm also very happy to give the agile methodology back. There's at my university we have actually a very profound. We learn about all those development processes. So I'm very happy to give that back to the community as well.
That's great. That's great. Fantastic. And your ability as a coach, and sort of potential mentor for other people in our organization, absolutely wonderful. So it sounds like a great fit. I think I've got to go off and prepare for this Elixir Phoenix mob now. Maybe I'll leave the thing running. I'll just turn my camera off. But yeah, if you guys want to carry on talking about the projects, maybe connect with Alex. I'll see you a little bit later.
All right.
Okay.
Nice.
Great to meet you.
Wow. Robert, do you want to? We don't have to look at my problem now. You've got somebody.
It's all right. So I still have time.
Okay.
Is it actually true that this is now the end of the official Scrum, right?
Yes.
The Scrum will be uploaded later on. Is it true?
We can either talk here or create another.
Well, I don't care. We can talk here.
Let me just give me 1 second. Alex is here. Do you have anything you need from me, Alex?
No, Matt. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll get. If you have anything, just put it in Slack, and I'm free all morning, so I can help.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you.
Yeah, Alex. Okay. Yeah. So, do you want me to share my screen? That's usually what we do. If when
Sure,
someone's
go ahead.
I can just.
Well, unfortunately, just show your screen, and I will see if I have ever seen that error so far. Can't find record friendly edit pricing.
No, that's not.
Probably not us.
Different project.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is you, and okay. Here's the first problem I'm having.
Yeah.
Unable to find login, and I thought that would be odd that it would say login in English, but
So by default, so the AMP application, you have two languages, right? And
right.
By default, if Ember cannot find a language, it will just default to English.
Oh, so that's when I start the front end. Then is there any?
For example, if you visit our site, your browser has to be configured to DE, which is German, and then you would see German by default.
Should I try that?
Yeah, but I mean, you can just go on our website and.
Yeah, what I'm forgetting what it is. What's the site URL?
Minus mitbestimmen. I can give you the. Where should I post the link? Here in chat now, chat message.
Yeah, in chat message.
Here we go. Link. So the prototype is actually live.
Let me just type a bit quicker.
There's a typo.
Oops.
Still.
My German. I know a little bit of German. I don't know what. Rundfunk mit
B, yeah.
I'm in Chrome here. I should be in Firefox because that's the one that.
So this is in English.
Right, let me, because I'm going to use Firefox for your project.
Yeah. So if you want to run the full stack tests, then you have to start Amber with a different environment.
Oh, okay.
I will tell you later.
So this is the Firefox I have with German.
Yeah, if you now visit our website with that browser, you should, it's still in English. Your browser, oh no.
No. If you look here, it's just,
Yeah. Yeah, that's German.
Yeah. So this looks okay. So so you're saying the only issue is that I need to start Ember in German somehow?
Yeah. So we had foremen to make this a little bit easier, and the only thing foreman does is to run two commands, and that's all. And I made up my mind, and I said, actually, it's not too difficult to have two terminals and two different commands.
Mm-hmm.
So I just removed foreman from the README. You can now say Ember serve -- environment. You're already in the front end folder, so you don't have to change the directory. You're saying CD front end. That's not necessary if you're in the front end folder already. If you, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So now -- environment equals integration. So it stands for continuous integration. That's what the build server does as well.
Oh, okay. Right. I've done Ember, so I know a little bit of this.
And you will see that command in this proc file. If you open your editor, you may forget that. So the commands, the respective commands are in the proc file.
Oh, okay.
There are two. There's proc file, and that's the development mode, if you just want to try out the app, and the proc file testing. That's what you have to do in order to run full stack tests. That's another file, just below. And there you can see that, for example, Rails will be run in testing environment, and the front end will be run in integration environment. That's actually awful naming, by the way. Maybe I should call the environment somehow full stack, maybe. For both.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Okay, no, I get the idea. So if that's right, I can run that. I can run those Cucumber again. It might work.
Yeah, and you have to run the backend server in a different environment as well.
Oh.
The reason is simple. So after each scenario, the database will be cleaned.
Right.
And you don't want that with your development environment. It's just like Rails.
Okay. So is it Rails?
Rails environment test, for example.
Like this? Test?
Mm-hmm.
Getting the.
You can also now open a browser and visit localhost 4000 and so on.
49.
No, 4200.
Oh. Oh, just to check Rails.
So this is again in German because you're using Firefox. Can you open a console, a JavaScript console, and see why this takes so long?
Did that?
Yeah, for example. So weird to see that in German. I never use, all my browsers are configured to be English. So
I should have gone, yeah, I could have gone the other one.
So the adapt operation was aborted. So that looks like as if there's something wrong with the backend. And if you, for example, now open the terminal of the backend and see, that's the front end. There we go. So cannot load search file. I don't know. Maybe it's
Rails env test didn't work.
Maybe you can just say I use -e and then test.
Oh, okay.
And you can also say nowadays bin/Rails. So there in Rails 5 you have bin stubs.
Oh, right.
And that saves you some keystrokes. It's basically just the same like bundle exec Rails. I think it also starts Spring. What else? I don't know. You can just say -e and then test. -e space test, for example.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the meantime, I'll explain why the front end has to be different somehow. I mean, backend is probably easy to explain, right? You don't want to clean your development database. Does it make sense?
Yeah, why are we doing environment tests? I don't quite get that.
So in the backend, you don't want to clean your development database. Say you're developing and you're creating records in the database. You don't.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So, and there's a reason why the front end also needs to be in a different environment. We use a third-party service, and it's called Auth0. We didn't want to implement the authentication by our own. Too much trouble and.
Oh yeah, I know Auth0. Yeah.
And so we use Auth0 for the Ember app. And there's a problem. I mean, if you want to do full stack testing and you want to log in, how would you do that, right?
Right.
We have to stop out the external service Auth0 somehow. And that's what Ember environment integration does. So Ember environment integration will, in our case, boot an application that is slightly different. And you cannot log in as usual with the Ember front end.
Oh, okay. See. That looks better.
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh.
Can you check the console again? Yeah, 500. So probably missing migration.
Oh. So I got to run DB migrate? You think?
No, root matches summarize statistics 0. No, that's not possible. Ah, no. Okay, options. It's interesting. You're on the current master branch.
Yes. Want to make sure.
Doesn't make any sense at all. So whenever
Oh, sorry. I should close this window. That's not yours. That's website 1. Here's the back end.
Oh yeah. You have to run the backend in. You have to run our backend, of course.
Oh, the other backend was running.
Yeah, probably.
Oh gosh, I totally messed up. Okay, let's do this. Bin Rails S -E. That's the problem.
-e test. There we go.
Right. I ran it for backend.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. There we go. Can you scroll down in the browser? Now, as you can see, there are 0 users, 0 broadcasts, 0 votes, and there's €0 already assigned, which makes sense if the database is empty. So the landing page tells you a little bit about the current statistics. So how many users do we have? How many broadcasts are in the database right now? How often did people vote? And this should be it in order to run full stack tests.
Great.
Did you still have the change commented out? You told me you have in support environment.
I put it back in. So should we try the cucumber? It
Yeah,
was maybe
try the cucumber.
Maybe something was messed up on my browser. I rebooted also, and now it seems fine. So this is the browser Selenium.
Yeah, so this would probably open Firefox. You can also, I use Chrome in order to do use of full stack testing, but Firefox should be okay as well.
Oh, actually, I was using Firefox because you told me to try it. That's the only reason.
Yeah, so if you have troubles with your Chrome driver, I had the same error on my build server, and that was just because there wasn't a Chrome driver, or the Chrome driver was not on path.
Right, that's, yep.
And for example, on Ubuntu, you can just install it, and there it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know, what kind of, you use apparently Mac OS, right?
Right, so I just had to download it and put it in a, in my path.
Well, then also Chrome should work for you.
Yeah, it should, yeah.
So does the browser open now? No.
Still getting it. This did open, yeah.
Yeah,
but I'm still.
Yeah. Now your browser is actually in German because you installed Firefox, and it cannot find the link login because that's in English.
Oh, okay. So let's forget about Firefox because I don't even I use Chrome all the time.
Man, you can use Chrome.
And I'll just do Chrome, and maybe this will work.
If you would install English version of Firefox, or if you configure your Firefox to use English, then you could have the same thing as well.
I don't even use Firefox, so I just won't even worry about that unless I need to.
And it's good, since you use Mac OS X, you can also maybe at a later point do the full stack testing with Safari. There's no way there's no easy way to test Safari on Linux.
Oh, okay. I could do that for you. Yeah.
So there, for example, I do remember that. Yeah, there we go.
Excellent.
Yeah, looks
wow.
all right. It's a little bit slow, but
yeah, all slow, but it's all set. I got an awful lot of stuff running.
Yeah. For development, you don't need to always run all the Cucumber tests. What I usually do is to specify just the feature that I want to run. And when I'm done, I will run all the Cucumbers and then see. And sometimes I don't even do that, I just push and the build server will do the rest.
Yeah, the build server do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I think I'm all set.
Yeah, you looks all right.
Great. Yeah, so I think I'm ready.
Awesome. Maybe you can check if the backend and the frontend tests are all running as they should.
Okay. I suspect everything else looked good, so I suspect the front end's probably good too.
Yeah, I would suspect the same thing.
I got one little thing, but expected to find some CSS. But I can play with the rest of this. I don't want to keep you all morning. Yeah, well, before I let you go, do you have any idea about the CSS, or should I? Unable to find that decision dash page.
Decision page? Is there a CSS warning?
When I visit the decision page, expect to find class decision page, but there's no matches.
Oh, okay. Sometimes, sometimes I just expect that the site is ready, and if in Cucumber or in Capybara, better to say, you can just expect that there is a certain CSS class visible, and that is enough in order to say, okay, it's all good. The page is just there, and sometimes it's just a timing issue. So if you, for example, run that Cucumber again, and if it turns green, oh, no, that's too often, probably.
That's the only error I've gotten so far.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's just one error, or are there many of this?
No, it's just that one. Just that one.
Yeah, maybe we call that flaky tests. That's actually the problem. Tests are sometimes green, sometimes red, and very often it's the reason is because of timing issues. If that happens on the build server, you have a serious problem, because you will get always red and green build servers, and you're not confident anymore. That's a big problem for the entire team. If it only happens on your machine, not good either, but yeah, maybe you can just run that Cucumber now, bundle exec Cucumber features, decide, click on broadcast, and see what happens. What is it? Decide.
Oh, decide.
Yeah, naming is another big problem. I'm also awful in naming things.
That's everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own style, and
I'm very happy that Katarina is with me, because she has a more natural, intuitive way of thinking about these kind of things. So we, for example, on the web page is already, the decision page is already called Find Broadcasts. And maybe we should also rename that route later on. But yeah.
and it's going. I mean, if this passes, that's just the flakiness, right?
No, still.
That's weird. I can look into this myself if you want.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe it'll clear up if I close some stuff and.
Yeah, so I expect this still to be a timing issue, because if you cannot see that CSS class decision page, that's the CSS class for the entire page was rendered, I expect, or I suppose to be, it's still a timing issue. If you just click on participate now, and you will see the decision page after some seconds, then this should be all right. For example, you can click now on this button, on the blue button, exactly. Click on it again. Okay, so that should be all right.
Oh, okay.
So if you have so if somebody searches for broadcasts and you cannot find a broadcast, the page will suggest to you, yeah, well then just create a new broadcast if it's missing. So this is kind of user generated content, and that also happens if you don't have any broadcasts. So that's the first thing that you actually see.
Oh, okay.
Probably the features about maybe creating a new one. I don't know.
When I visit.
No. Okay, so we create 3 broadcasts. We go to the decision page, and then it expects there should be a card, and it should be able to click on support. And the feature is failing because it cannot find. Apparently, the decision page is not quick enough to render. What you can do is you can, for example, go to the step definition when I visit the decision page. For debugging, I use binding pry. Yeah, that's a very, very, very long file. Visit. There we are. So, for example, between line 60 and 61, you could enter binding.pry and run the feature again. There we go. So if you now open the browser, so there's the site, right?
Yeah.
That was just rendered. If you now click, if you just hit exit, for example, so this is what we want to, this is what we expect to be. So there's a broadcast called Quarks & Co, and there's a green support button. It's all good, probably. It was just too slow.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
And if you now in the console, if you just say exit, that will continue the thing, and probably now the test will be green. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
It's just a time. Oh no.
Well, it's another ECSS, but
yeah,
maybe it's the same thing. So I'm not gonna worry about it.
I'm sorry, I have to go now.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support. See you next time. Bye.
Katharina is leaving.
Ja.
Let you go.
Okay. Bis dann. Ne? Ciao. Wir telefonieren.
Ja. Very schön. Ich glaube nicht. Deine Jacke ist weg. Alles gut. Tschüss. All right.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming. Yeah, maybe I'll start working on a ticket or something.
Mm.
Should I just look in the backlog and the issues?
Yeah, I just created a milestone on GitHub. The order of issues within a milestone doesn't change. So you can order issues depending on the priority, and I did just that.
Oh, good.
So there is one milestone. It's called priority queue, and the issues are ordered based on their priority.
Oh, that's nice. We tend to use Waffle.
Yeah.
In our projects, but it sounds like you're getting a lot of features right out of GitHub. So
exactly. So that's a recent feature of GitHub.
That's great.
And the issues are rather complex, I would say, because I don't want to define the technical implementation. I just explain the problem and the value from the customer perspective. So all you see in the issue is just the desired behavior and the reasoning behind it, but no hints on how to implement that. So I would just suggest, if you search through the issues, get back to me.
Yeah, okay, and I'll let you know what I'm thinking definitely before writing a line of code.
Exactly, and that's also a good validation test for the specification. Why? For me, it's difficult to write the user stories for a person that doesn't know the project.
Okay.
I'm so into it that I start to being, I don't know the English word for that. We call it professional blindness.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a good word for it. I just can't think of it.
Yeah, so if you just go over the issues, you can also just read them one by one, and please get back to me and explain all the things that are not easy to understand, and there will be probably many. And that will be good feedback for me, because then I can improve the issues.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Great.
Cool. Nice.
So, feel free to join these Scrum whenever you want. And
yeah.
Eventually, we might have a weekly if you wanted. A lot of our projects have weekly Scrums. Just
for, Yes, of course. As soon as there are people on Agile Ventures who want to join, for example, you
get more people than
weekly Scrum meetup.
Great. Okay.
Nice. You're welcome.
Nice to meet you, Robert. Yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.